Welcome to the Build Your Own Business podcast. My name is Lauren Lomsdale, and I am a serial entrepreneur who has started, scaled, and grown several businesses over the past 12 years. And together with my husband, we have helped hundreds of clients do the same. This podcast is for those small business dreamers who are wanting to take the leap into starting their very own business, as well as those business owners who have big dreams of scaling their business. We provide step-by-step how-to guidance, discuss growing pains in your business, and give real-life business lessons and advice that you can apply to your own business. So BYOB and pull up a seat because we are going to build your business. Welcome back, everyone, to the Build Your Own Business podcast. My name is Lauren Lomsdale, and I am so excited to be talking to you guys today. One of the things that often is talked about when you are talking to an entrepreneur, you actually may have done this yourself, when talking to business owners or trying to, gauge what it's like to be a small business owner yourself. And people may have asked you this question as well, which is, how did you get started? A lot of people will start with their origin story. Their origin story is basically, their history of who they are and how their business got started. But I was listening to this podcast with Jenna Kutcher, who is kind of in this a huge marketing space, or a huge person in the space of marketing online and digital businesses. I love her so much. I've been listening to her for a long time. About 6 or 8 months ago, I was listening to one of her podcast episodes, and she was talking to a gentleman who I can't remember his name, but I guarantee you, after I'm done with this podcast, it's going to pop up on my Instagram because I see it sometimes. And now my phone is Big Brother's listening and probably will push that onto my phone. But he talked about his conversion story. So as a business owner, instead of telling your story of your origin story of this is where I came from, this is how I got started, telling your conversion story. What transformed in your life to change your life so dramatically that it shifted your business? You might not have a conversion story yet. You might, maybe that's what's propelling you into starting your own business. But you might not be there yet. You might just be like, I wanted to start this, and this is where it got started. Or maybe you're inheriting one or purchasing one, and you're kind of diving right in. Where that started will be important part of your story. But the conversion story is really what made this big transformation to really shift into either starting your business or shifted your business in a different direction, or your personal life. It could also be your personal life. Oftentimes in marketing, instead of talking about your origin story, it is not widely known. I wouldn't say widely known, but discussed quite frequently about not so much talking about where you got started, but what that big transformation was, what that conversion was to make things a whole lot different for you and really take off. When you're marketing to a transformation of someone's life, and you're telling the story behind your brand, that's oftentimes what's talked about, this conversion story, this change in your life. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about today. My conversion story, what changed my life, changed the trajectory of what I thought I was going to be doing, and how it transformed where my business is now. And I actually kind of have two, but I'm only going to be touching on one today. One is what really changed the trajectory of my life to me starting my own business. Another one kind of changed the trajectory of my business to where it is now. So I'm going to talk about this story, and I have to be, quite frankly, quite broad in this topic, because I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement with the organization that I was working for at the time. So just to preface this by saying I can't get into the nitty-gritty details of exactly what happened. I can't get into the juicy drama, but I can get into the part of why this was a conversion story for me, and how as a business owner, and how as somebody who never considered starting a business like this, I've always had kind of this entrepreneur side of me, but never really was like, I'm going to go full blown into my own business. How this story really changed the trajectory and really propelled me to be like, I need to stop working for other people and start taking control of my life. Okay, so to just give you a pretty brief background, I am a stay-at-home mom. Really, I work from home mom. I work remotely right now. A little bit of a hybrid situation with an executive client that I have, and I go into the office occasionally. But I'm also a military spouse, and so my husband, being an active duty Marine, we move a lot. And one thing I wanted for my life and for our life together and what we discussed was that I would be home with the kids as our family grew. Now, I do have my master's in education. I planned to be a teacher before I met my husband, and I even planned to teach as we were growing our family. But of course, teachers make nothing. So once we started growing our family, we decided that I would be staying at home. No point in me, one, putting my kids in daycare. I didn't want to do that. And two, financially made absolutely no sense because I'd basically be paying for daycare and we wouldn't be making any additional income outside of it. We actually probably be paying out of pocket a little bit. And so it really just didn't make sense for us and for what we wanted for our lives. So, as a mom, a new mom, and somebody who is an Enneagram 3, which I've talked about before, I highly recommend if you haven't taken an Enneagram test that you do so. I think it can give you so much value into your own personality. As an Enneagram 3 and as a millennial who has been taught that my worth is directly correlated to my productivity, I, as a stay at home mom with a new baby, husband deployed, all of those things, I felt like I was losing my identity. And so I started to kind of pick up these freelancing things on the side, freelance writing here and there. Um, and I started to really develop somewhat of a career, not a very prolific career, but what was, I felt, growing into what could become a full-time career once my kids were all in school and I could focus on it a little bit more. But that was kind of the goal. I remember sitting with my husband and saying, when in 5 years, and at that time my third daughter was just born, I said, in 5 years, when she's in school full time, I want to be working from home remotely as a writer. And I was like, that's my goal. That's what I'm like putting out into the universe. That's what I'm manifesting. That's what I want. And so time went on. We moved a bunch. We had 3 kids. We moved cross country. We did all the military things. I'm involved in his command and his different commands. And I'm, doing the mom thing. I did different things on the side. I was a freelance writer. I had a YouTube channel with another military spouse. I was a brand photographer and did a little bit of lifestyle photography, all sorts of things. Had my hands in all sorts of different things, but primarily a writer. I was writing for publications, military spouse publications, civilian publications, parenting publications, things like that, all digital stuff for the most part. And I really thought that this is where my career was going to go. I was going to be a writer. And so 2020 hit. I was a managing editor of a military publication at the time, one that I had developed from the ground up along with a sister site, a parent site called Daily Mom. And I was managing Daily Mom Military. And COVID hit. Pulled my kids out of school, needed to focus on that. I stepped back from being managing editor, and I really wasn't sure what was going to happen. None of us really were, right? Like, I didn't know how long the kids were going to be out of school. We ended up moving, PCSing that summer as well. So I was really kind of in the space of like, I don't know what's up, but that was okay because that's why I wanted to have this flexibility to be able to step back and be a present part in my family's life and make sure that they were taken care of first primarily. Um, Over that time, the summer we were PCSing, we were moving cross country from California all the way to Key West, Florida, in the middle of COVID. I got a call from somebody that I had known, online, never met in person for a very long time since I had first started freelance writing for military publications. Um, and she said, hey, I'd be interested in bringing you on as the digital editor for us. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is my dream job. This is what I want. I can work from home. It is flexible. It is bringing me up to the next level of where I want to be. Like, this is the epitome of, like, this was my dream goal, my dream job. And at the time she had said, I want to bring you on and I really want you to eventually take over the publication. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like exactly what I want. This is it. This is my dream job. And within 11 months, that went down the drain. Again, I cannot get into the nitty-gritty details of all of the things that happened within those 11 months or within the process of me leaving that publication and how that went down. I stupidly signed a non-disclosure agreement when I shouldn't have. I should have just said, nope, this is what happened. This is my story and I'm going to let it live on. But in an effort to be it wasn't really respect. It was in an effort to be kind, I guess. I don't know. I was like, okay, I'll sign it. Um, just kind of water under the bridge, put everything behind us. I wanted to move on. But I can tell you, I was absolutely 100% devastated, shocked to my core because I had done some really great things for this publication, had increased their viewership, had done some production videos, huge things for the brand, and was really feeling as though we were taking it in a really positive direction, and was somewhat blindsided, kind of in retrospect, saw it coming, or not necessarily saw it coming, but could kind of see the writing on the wall. But yeah, it was a complete shock to me and to other members of the organization. So I was devastated. I remember sitting in on this Zoom call and them telling me, and then me just being like, I had no idea. My daughter had like had just gotten lice over the weekend. So I was like, sat down for this meeting thinking it was just like a general, weekly meeting. I was like, oh, just, my daughter's home. If she comes in, she has lice, like I'm like burning the house down, like making jokes, all these things. And it was just a boom, a shock, like a gavel, not a gavel, a guillotine, like chopping my head off. And I got off that call and my husband was in a secure building. He couldn't have his phone with him, so I couldn't get a hold of him. And I call my parents and I'm just like bawling. Like this has never happened to me before. And I was just absolutely gutted. I just thought, I'm never going to find a position like this again. I'm never going to work. I'm never going to do what I want to do with my life. Not never going to work, but this, like, I thought that was the end. Like I was going to have to start over from scratch, find a whole new niche, a whole new group of a whole new space to work in. And I just didn't know how to recover from it. And I felt like nothing was going to, it was just over. I was just so absolutely devastated. Then, of course, when something big like this happens, I typically dive into some sort of project. So I like redid my kids' rooms and I did all these things. And like a month or so down the road, I got a call from a friend who actually worked for me on Daily Mom Military, the publication I had left when COVID hit, and was like, hey, I've got this opportunity. Push comes to shove, about 8 months after I started working as a VA for Brittany, for the other person, I started to really consider starting my own business. And so the reason why that story is my conversion story is because without that having happened to me, I probably still would be in this publication space, this writing space, editor, whatever it is. I would still be there working for somebody else dictating what I do, how things go, how things are run, and I wouldn't be where I am now. Not only am I in a much more positive place financially, but I am in a much more positive place emotionally, personally, personal growth wise, and our own lifestyle. I'm able to have this lifestyle that is flexible, where I just sat on a call with my husband, who is TDY, and talked to him for an hour and a half in the middle of the day, just because I can. He comes home for lunch many days. I can sit and have lunch with him. I can have coffee with him in the morning. I take my kids to school every day. I go to their field trips. I go to their school events. All of these things I could maybe do as a remote worker for the most part, but I don't have that freedom of my own flexibility, my own time. I get to dictate exactly how my day goes, what I do, the clients I take, how I run my business. All of that is dictated by me. And that is an immeasurable type of freedom that you really cannot get when you're working for somebody else. So if that had never happened to me, like I said, I'd probably still be a writer. I'd probably still be in this singular space, and I wouldn't be where I am now. So although it was like such a devastating blow to me, I really am grateful for it because it's something that completely changed the trajectory of my life. I then that gave me the empowerment to say, you know what, I'm done working for other people. I'm done doing this for other people. I want to be my own boss. I can do this on my own. I'm going to do it. And I did. I took that first step. I found a client through Facebook. And then I found another one and another one. And then they started referring. And then the business grew and grew and grew to where it is today. Multi six figures within 3 years. And I have a team of military spouses who work for me as virtual assistants. And was a big goal of mine as when I was a writer, was that I'd be part of an organization who could give military spouses these flexible career opportunities. And then here I am, and now I'm doing that in my own business that meets the life that we want to live. And so what I say to small business dreamers or those who are just getting started in their small business, you may feel like something has happened to you that's bringing you to starting this business. You may feel like it is something you are trying to do to create a life you want to live. Everyone has a different type of origin and or conversion story of why they're starting their business and what kind of shifted for them to bring them to the next level. So that's like my conversion origin story. And then I have a conversion story about how it changed the trajectory of my business. And you probably have one too. You probably have some sort of catalyst that said to you, I want to do this. I want to start this, whether it's a personality trait, whether it is something that happened in your life, happened in your career, a life transition, a desire to have a certain type of lifestyle. Something probably spoke to you and said, I need to do this. This is what I need to do. And so for those who are sitting back and kind of doubting, should I be doing this? Should I start my business? Should I be putting myself out there? Yes, you should be, because you have some sort of desire to do something different with your life. Not everyone can be an entrepreneur. People have ideas for businesses. People have ideas to how to create or develop a business or what might work, but not everybody has the drive to actually put that into execution. Not everybody has the drive to sit there and say, you know what? Yes, I have this idea. I am going to take a chance on myself. And here's the list of things that I need to do to get this off the ground. We just did a podcast episode a couple back called Bringing Your Idea to Execution. This is a great episode if you are kind of in this mindset phase of, how do I get started? I have this idea, but I don't even know what the first step should be to getting my business off the ground. This is a great way, or that episode is a great kind of roadmap into bringing your idea to execution. We go through 3 different business types: product, service, and creative based. And we give examples about how you sit down and you examine the customer, what you would want the customer or client experience to be for your business. And that kind of gets you started into thinking about all the different things and components and systems and steps you need to take to make that a reality. So that's a really great episode if you're kind of just in this beginning phase of you have an idea and you don't, what's next. If you are somebody who's in the throes of really getting your business off the ground, sorry, that was my lunch reminder. If you are somebody who's just getting this business off the ground and you are struggling to, feel like this is the right path for you, then I strongly encourage you to think about your catalyst, your conversion. What is driving you to do this? What is driving you to create this lifestyle or to start this business? And I can guarantee you that catalyst is your answer for why you should keep moving forward, or the reasoning behind continuing to grow this business and scale it and get it to the next level. I talk a lot about on my Instagram at Lauren Lonsdale Official. I talk a lot about using visualization and meditation and thinking about my higher self to help grow my business. It may sound very like internal when you're thinking about your higher self, who do you want to be? But it honestly is part of what I do to build my business to the next level. So when you're thinking about your higher self and you're thinking about, okay, this is what happened to me. This is what made me want to start it. And then you're thinking about, but why do I want to keep going? Because that's a question that every entrepreneur asks. Why do I want to keep doing this when it's so hard or confusing or overwhelming? But you start to think about, well, these are the reasons why. This happened to me, and now I'm starting my business because I want this. And this happened to me, and now I'm growing my business to be this type of person or to live this type of lifestyle. We all kind of have that thought of what we want in the future. And if we use higher self thinking and meditation and visualization about our life that we want in the future, this can really help to develop us as entrepreneurs to reach those next set of goals. We're already thinking about, this is who I am going to be, or you really in higher self thinking, you're really thinking, I am this person, even though you may not have that amount of money in your bank account, or your business that might not be in this space, or you're not living in the house that you are envisioning. You start to make yourself feel as though you already are that person. You start, okay, my husband says this is like so hippy dippy, but you start attracting those things to you, and you start raising your vibration to the point where those things are able to manifest within your life. And my conversion story really helped me to kind of see that. I really, something really drastic happened to me and shifted my mindset into what I want for my life. I knew I wanted something flexible, remote, I could do from home, all of those things. But that took it one step further for me to say, you know what? I need to be in control of this. I need to be the one who makes the decisions, who says, this is how I want it to run, who has the control of the business so I can get it to go where I wanted. I was constantly being roadblocked with ideas and things that I felt were going to be huge within the brand. And the things that I was able to execute were huge within the brand. And I kept thinking, well, if I could do this, this would be so great that it'll make it so much better, so much more relatable, community involvement, all of these things. And so when that happened, it really said to me, stop working for other people. Do it yourself, because you are going to make it to what you want it to be. It's never going to be yours if it belongs to somebody else. And so that conversion story helped me to then start my business. And now I'm in a place where now I'm scaling my business, I'm growing it. And so now I'm looking at my higher self saying, where do I want to be? What do I want my life to look like? And so that's why I encourage you to kind of think about what your conversion story is. What would you say your conversion story is? What's your catalyst for starting this? Or if you have a conversion story that has changed your business, maybe you had one idea, you were going to do, I don't know, make tumblers. You were going to make, I don't know why that keeps coming in my mind, but you were going to make tumblers and this was going to be your business. But then something happened where now you have shifted and now you're in beauty products. Like, what is your conversion story to change that? Why are you changing things? What in your life, in your business, are making you change to reach that higher self, to reach where you want to be in your life in the end? I'd love, love, love to hear your conversion stories in the comments. I love hearing people's stories and listening to them and seeing how things shift in people's lives to really lead them down different paths. I really, truly believe, and you'll find out listening to my podcast, how I truly believe that, you can manifest the things that you want in your life. And I don't think it's this whole, you're asking for the universe to give you this thing. I think it is law of attraction. I think you think these things enough and you believe in them enough that you start changing your behaviors to match that energy. And that's why these things come to you. That's a little off topic, but that's my thought in this process. And I So when you think about your conversion story and you think about your higher self, what caused you to make that shift, to make that change, to start your business, to change your business. And then when you think about that, then you'll be able to see, hey, my higher self is telling me I want XYZ, and this shift is helping me get there. And so now how can I look at that? How can I look at that shift and utilize the things that my universe, my world is telling me need to be changed to get to that higher self, to grow the business, to grow my personal life, whatever it may be. So that's my conversion story, one of two conversion stories. Eventually, I'll probably tell the other conversion story about how my business changed trajectory by one simple digital product that I made, and how that kind of changed my life and changed my business. That's a story for another day. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little storytelling episode, little motivational discussion about your business and getting yourself started. If you guys are interested in learning more about starting your own business, building your own business, and getting to that next level, taking your idea to execution and actually formulating not only your business plan and how you're going to execute these things, but then going through and actually executing your web design, your email marketing, your branding photos, your social media. We do have a wait list as the recording of this episode for our different courses in product-based, service-based, and creative-based businesses over at thestartupcollective.co. And you can sign up with our waitlist on those, and we will be launching those courses sometime in the spring of 2025. If this is much later than the spring of 2025, maybe we still have these courses, maybe we don't. I don't know where the business is going to grow, and that is the beauty of it. But you are welcome to take a look at thestartupcollective.co, see what we've got going on, and sign up with our courses to help you start, grow, and scale your business. All right, that's it for today, guys. Again, my name is Lauren Lomsdale. This is the Build Your Own Business podcast, and we are here to help you start, grow, and scale your very own business. Have a great day. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope we gave you some valuable insight into building and growing your own business. Head over to the Startup Collective to learn more about building your business from the ground up. We teach you how to get started in your business, to include designing a high-converting website, creating your email marketing, growing your audience and customer base through social media and digital marketing, and even business photography and more. If you're in the scaling phase of your business, join our Grow Your Own Business group coaching. We will give you weekly tasks and accountability in growing your business the right way, and we actually show you how to do it. Visit us at thestartupcollective.co today and follow us on Instagram at thestartupcollective. Dream, start, build, and grow. See you next time.